Here we are at GRM. We've got Marcus here, obviously, myself. Gary couldn't make it, but we've got his helmet sitting here to
here in spirit.
be part of it. Yeah, he's down in Tassie, Marcus. He's down there, gone to God's country.
Part of the world. Yeah. Well, he's earned his stripes, hasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah, he's had a great life in business. Yep. Fantastic race team. Yep. He needs a bit of R&R.
He does actually, and you do take it for granted. Like he probably doesn't want me to say, but he's 77 now, 78 next year. Still gets about, gets to all the race meetings.
That's right.
Loves to see what's going on. He's probably having the young guys out the back, and particularly this year, you coming on board was really enthused him and really got him going. So we've had a great year. I mean, as you just summarised, probably. Hey, we run a lot of drivers, as you know.
We do.
6 in TCR, 3 in Trans Am, and S5000, sort of between 2 and 5, depending what round. Not that we like to necessarily, pick out individuals, but probably Nathan Hearn's been a standout this year, I think, from a Jerem point of view. I think,
totally.
Again, the Trans Am Championship and that level's lifting every year. Obviously, last year he did win it also, but the level of competition's really lifted. I mean, Les Small and these guys have brought it along, and he did a faultless job throughout the year, and then to finish off the year to get a clean sweep at Gold Coast in the S5000s and at Adelaide, put on a good performance there, albeit at a bit of a coming together with Joey in the last race, but to win that Tasman Trophy. There's some pretty famous names on that over the years, and of course, the level of competition isn't what it was when the Europeans used to come out, all of that, but still, to get his name alongside, Jackie Stewart and these sort of guys on that trophy.
That's right. It's fantastic. Tasman Prize is a huge win. Let's roll it back a little bit.
Yep.
I mean, GRM are probably the largest race team in the country for the amount of cars that we run at a national level. Yeah. So we're across S5000s, TCR and Trans Am. Yeah. We've been competitive in all the championships. Yeah. We've won some of them. Trans Am's obviously a standout. Our rollout there for our first go at it from GRM perspective has been great. The Tasman Series is another really fantastic one for Nathan. What a step up for him as a driver and as a person. I think GRM again have groomed another driver into a pro, and we look forward to seeing where he goes over time.
That's right.
We've got Jimmy Golding that's come back.
That's right.
And got himself
kept himself alive
through
the 5,000.
Through the 5,000s. Fantastic year, really.
Yeah. Well, Nathan G started off. You talked us into sticking him in a sprint car down in Tassie.
Yeah, I did.
I think it was one of your cousin's cars or something. I'm not sure whose car it was. No. We had a great run down there at Tassie at the start of the year with the Luttrells, wasn't it?
It was with the Luttrells.
Yeah, great family.
Yeah,
great job. Yeah.
With Nathan, a lot of young talent there. You can see it straight away, super fast in the car, but trying to make him a complete driver. So the plan was to get him driving lots of different cars as much as we could, especially in the off-season, just get him hungry and ready and just keep him turning laps.
That's right.
And then we split him up a little bit in the 5,000s, where we focused on the Trans Am Championship during the year, and then we let him focus on the Tasman Series for 5,000 later on. Won both championships. Fantastic guy, working here in the shop. Just another protege for GRM. He's a good news story, but he's not the only one.
No.
We got a lot
we can go from one end to the other. Like Nathan being one of the youngest ones. Yep. And then we've got old Owen Kelly.
Yeah, that's right.
You like that when we started, wasn't he? Old Owen Kelly. And,
well, he's not that old. No. He's younger than me.
Oh, is he? Right?
Yeah, just calm down.
But he did a great job in Trans Am also this year. I mean, very experienced racer. Been to the US, obviously. You know a bit of what he's done over the time. And
that's a balance of that experience and youth that we were looking for in the Trans Am, and we actually had that. Not just in the drivers, but also in the crew. Yeah. I was sort of shadowing, the crew there just to make sure that they're staying on point, but letting the young mechanics and engineers come through and really shine. So you need that balance, I think, between young exuberance and raw talent, and then that experience. And Owen's a fantastic driver and a lot of experience.
Very competitive, which we love.
Yeah, very competitive. That's what we need. And people look at us from the outside, look, GRM, sort of dominated, but we had our internal struggles.
That's right.
I mean, we're trying to balance our drivers out and our crews out to try to just keep it all together. Because when you run at the front and you all want to win,
that's right.
You've got to manage that too.
Yeah. And we're on the subject of Trans Am, obviously Lockie Dalton, sort of first year in. Another Tassie boy. They can drive from Tasmania, Marcus, can't they?
Yeah, look, he didn't get any race wins, but and he didn't finish Rookie of the Year either, but he showed a lot of promise, and he had a lot of top fives, a lot of consistency. But you've got to be a complete product. Those Trans Ams are no joke. I mean, they are serious cars to drive, very difficult cars to drive. They move around a lot under the tyre, got a lot of power. The suspension's, pretty simple, and so you don't have, you've got to push the cars past their limits to rag a lap time out of them. And so I think Owen and Nathan are sort of exceptional to get the most out of their cars, especially on new tyre. And Lockie was really learning his craft this year, and if he comes back again for us next year, we expect big things from him.
Yeah, that's great. And then if we go from Trans Am, obviously you touched on TCR earlier there, but 6 guys running, 4 Peugeots, 2 Renaults. The Renaults have been a battle here at JRM. We've really done our bit with them, and it's probably been hard for Moff and first year Cody Garland, who came straight out of the combine, and it was a last minute, ad, and to those two, look, it is a battle and it is frustrating. The Peugeot guys, Coxie, Aaron Cameron, Dylan O'Keefe and little Benny Bargs. I mean, all 4 of them had their moments throughout the year. Well, all of them were in the championship really until probably a round or 2 to go. Coxie was still in the final round, of course. So
very much so. Like TCR is a different beast, and so it's my first experience with the category. A great category, by the way.
Actually, remember when we first started? You thought, you weren't Kevin and me. Then it's amazing how it changes.
I did. I've come full circle on these TCR cars. You go, it's just a fast shopping trolley, but really, when you get into it and you really start looking at it, they're great cars for drivers to learn their craft, coming out of XLs and so forth, and they can come through and drive a really nicely balanced, good handling race car at a high level. These cars are beautifully built. A lot of them are from European teams, and so the stuff underneath them is first class, and they've got plenty of power. They get a lot of power out of those small engines, and so they're very nimble, very sharp cars to drive. So I've become a big fan of TCR, but what I like about it the most is that you've got these different brands that have different strengths at different tracks. And so you can't dominate, no one mate can dominate the year. And even if one car does start getting away, the world regulations bring it back into peg.
Well, it's interesting. You see, obviously, D'Alberto won the championship, did a great job, but it was consistency that really won in the championship. He had some great speed at Queensland Raceway, but probably apart from there, it was just consistency throughout the year. And for the younger drivers coming through in the last few years, obviously Mosset's won it, Will Brown's won it, now D'Alberto's won it. You've got Moff in it, Caruso's in it, Holdsworth's been in it. It seems to be a way that these, call it supercar co-drivers and even main game drivers keep themselves sharp. Because they are, you've got to be sharp to drive on these little cars.
That's right. But back to our JRM fleet, because that's what I'm focused on. I'm here to look after JRM. We had a great year with the Peugeots. We've really refined those cars. Feel like we're actually getting the most out of that package now and letting our drivers really get the job done on the track. And I think you could see that we just weren't consistent enough from a drive perspective and also a team rollout perspective during the year. And we got beaten by, a more consistent crew. Next year, 2023, we're looking for our drivers to step up again. We've got a lot of raw speed. We won a lot of races, but we've just got to put the whole thing together. And we did fall over ourselves, to be honest, at Bathurst for the last round of the year. We were in contention to win the championship, and we failed as a team to get that done. But that's what racing is all about. Nothing's certain, nothing's guaranteed. But what I do know is we've got great cars with the Peugeots, we've got a great driver lineup, and yes, the Renaults were challenging, but we really did try to. We didn't quit on it. A lesser group would have said, it's all too hard here, but we persevered and we tried to get the most out of them. But, not all cars are equal, and we just fell short on the Renault program.
And S5000, you touched on it earlier. Obviously, the actual championship season finished at Darwin in the middle of the year. It was a 5-round championship. Jimmy Golding was runner-up. Joey Mawson won it again, but Jimmy Golding, runner-up, showed some, over the last couple of years, it's really kept him sharp and going, and the position at Premier opened up for him to move in, and he's really, in the second half of the supercar season, he's really stood out, and something at JRM, as you know, we're very proud when our drivers, do get those opportunities to move on. And
that's right. Well, JRM are sort of wearing 2 hats on the S5000s. You've developed the cars in-house here, so there's a part of improving the category, and I think we've made huge inroads on the drivability and the spectacle of what S5000 is, the push to pass and the handling changes, the tyre changes we've made. On the competition side, so on our JRM, we were beaten by a better team, a better driver. But, Jimmy showed a lot of class during the championship fight, probably too many errors, probably overreaching from time to time on passes and things. But he stepped up and he's turned himself into a supercar driver again. So it shows you these cars are great tools to really refine your craft. And so we wish Jimmy good luck with what he's doing on the supercar side. But then, we've fattened up our S5000s for the Trans Ams. We had a lot of cars that ran. We had some rookie drivers, some experienced drivers. Really great to see the category coming alive, and also too, the drivers are starting to smile. They're really Drivers can make a difference in those cars, and you could see that at the last race at Clipsal, Nathan Hearn, Aaron Cameron, the most aggressive, probably the most disciplined and experienced in those cars in the field, really took off, making passes, fastest laps, winning races. Good to see. I think that 2023 for S5000 here at JRM and across the whole series is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, no, looking forward to that. And within our stable of drivers, we've obviously spoken about them all, but a couple of international appearances this year. It's great when you see your drivers go and race overseas. Aaron obviously went to the FIA games in France.
Yes.
And then Nathan got a call up to run in a TA2 around in the States, and that may develop even further in 2023, who knows, because he did a tremendous job when he went over there. But to see our drivers, look, I know in Australia, the dream is for young guys coming through to get into the supercars. That's what it's all about here. But there are other things out there, and for those guys to make the most of those opportunities overseas, it's good to see.
Very much so, and it's actually, for JRM perspective, that you don't hold these drivers back.
No.
Okay, if you want to go do extra races, go overseas, we fully support you in your efforts. Right. And the Nathan Hearn effort in Texas there at Road America, spectacular really. 50 odd cars in the field. A very different car. The Trans Am in America is not the same as here.
Right, okay.
And so he had to adapt his style, different tyre, different engine configurations, different downforce configurations. And he, stripped out a top 5 straight away. And Aaron, what a great gun he is, and was able to go across to Europe and really hold his own there. Looking forward to really seeing how our drivers line up against the internationals that come out for the TCR World Series later on in 2023. Right. So I think you'll be surprised about how competitive our category is against those guys.
So we'll talk about 2023, and we touched on Jordan Cox earlier. A bit of a, over the years, probably that famous like at Bathurst in his little Suzuki Swift, he's become a bit of a front-wheel drive man. But you know what I'm keen to see? I'd like to see? You listen here, Geordie? I want to see him in an S5000 maybe.
Well, there you go.
Wouldn't it be good to see him?
He would be exciting, wouldn't he?
Do you reckon he can handle the rear-wheel drive?
Yeah.
I reckon he can, because he's a driver, isn't he?
Well, Jordan's got a lot of show in him, and a lot of flair, and you see that in his driving style. And he just loves the dogfight. I mean, you can just tell he just loves the battle. He loves coming from the back of the field through the pack. He's great on starts. He would be exciting in an S5000, but he's a raw talent, a real talent for us, and he's one of my favourites. I mean, I've made it pretty obvious that, he drove fast all year in the TCR series, and he's just got a lot of flair, a lot of pizzazz, and he really thinks about his racing all the time. He's one of those guys who'll send you a text at 10 o'clock at night, with a photo or an idea, and they're the kind of drivers that you want in your team. That's right.
Well, we've got a lot of drivers to look after, Marcus. You've done a great job throughout the year, and I hope you have a happy and safe Christmas.
Thank you.
Really, to all our people out there that follow JRM, thanks for the support. We love going motor racing. We love to see our fans at the track, and we look forward to seeing you in 2023.
2023 it is.